Teaching the method. In my teaching, I tell actors what Lee Strasberg continually told his students, which is that they can't stop working on themselves. If you stop working, you will regress. Actors must keep tuned, active, consistently honing their craft to rise to a level of excellence and grow as artists. Strasberg's greatest gift and pleasure was as a teacher, nurturing the actor's talent, which he felt was his great responsibility, and that we actors must take responsibility for our own talent. He shared his philosophies about art and the creative process with many thousands of actors, directors, and authors, both professional and amateur. Strasberg rarely missed an opportunity in class to wax poetic, providing fascinating background on theatre history and world theatrical figures. I urge my students to become voracious in their pursuit of experience and knowledge of the arts, literature, and especially biography, theatre history, and good theatre criticism. Their reading should be broad and purposeful. For example, they read not just A Streetcar Named Desire, but everything Tennessee Williams wrote. Great novels should be read, where rich dialogue feeds the character's narrative, themes, spines, and transitions by the likes of Tolstoy, Proust, Bronte, Hemingway, Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, and all great modern writers. Teachers must emphasize the need for their students to immerse themselves in all styles of theatre and film genres from the world stage and cinema. One starting point is to advise them to watch all Academy Award, Emmys, Golden Globe, Independent Spirit, Cannes, Sundance and other winners and nominees. Violent movies, where car chases, robotic killers, and gratuitous violence are the principal elements, and there's no intelligent character development or storyline, should be avoided. I have compiled and shared with my students reading lists and suggested plays and films that can facilitate a provocative acting discussion. Art museums should be visited regularly, and contemporary and classical music should be used to enhance an artistic life and broaden tastes. Immersion in the arts is the ultimate adventure residing in a conscious journey during which the actor cultivates the superior parts of their nature, while enriching their spiritual and intellectual life. Students should be keeping track in their journals of everything they're experiencing sensorially in life, in class, and in their scene work. The best way to become a method teacher is to take method acting classes yourself. You learn the work by practicing the exercises daily and developing discipline, consistency, and commitment, just as your future students must. Becoming more aware of and developing your own sensory life will make what you're teaching clearer and more relatable to your students. Listening to teacher commentary and critiques, and observing how they work with their actors, is also instructive. It's also illuminating to observe actors practicing the exercises. By watching carefully, you learn how each student relates to the world sensorially, as well as their level of relaxation, concentration, and capacity for feelings. You observe their strengths and weaknesses and make suggestions or adjustments for variations in exercises to help them move forward. At the end of an exercise, the teacher leads a conversation that helps the actors to evaluate what worked for them and what they were going for. The actors describe what they experienced emotionally and physically, but they never share personal details, including who said or did what and when. Strasberg told us he didn't want to frustrate actors by having them repeat the exercises over and over if nothing was transpiring. You can tell the actor to return to an exercise at a later time, when the senses are more developed. Giving critiques is an integral part of the relationship between teacher and actor. Engaging with the actors after their scenes and sensory work gives them an opportunity to deal with constructive criticism, good or bad. It's up to the teacher in the class to estimate how to get the best out of an actor. It may be necessary to tread lightly with certain actors and be more emphatic with others. Each person deals with criticism differently, and the teacher should be sensitive to an actor's style. It's incumbent upon the teacher to unlock an actor's potential, while at the same time to not impose your will by telling them every single thing to do in the scene. When rehearsing scenes outside of class, Tell your students not to direct each other or tell each other what to do. They must learn to think for themselves and develop foresight in seeking different possibilities for creating a reality. Each person handles criticism differently. You'll hear actors apologize when you critique them, but remind them that it isn't a question of doing something wrong, merely a means of figuring out what can be done to solve a problem. It's better for actors to defend their choices rather than to apologize for them, even if it's wrong. They should stick to their guns and ideas about the character. The adjustments you give them should be incorporated into their future work. Strasberg was passionate about the importance of relaxation and the significant role it plays in harnessing the creative process. I urge all teachers to emphasize this supremely important exercise, which prepares actors so well for auditions, readings, and performances. In my class, when an actor is blocked, locked, static, or distracted, I direct them to return to relaxation and to consciously get hold of the situation. The relaxation exercise can positively affect all areas of an actor's life and should be discussed, demonstrated, and practiced in every method class, so there's no confusion about how or when to do it. You remind the actors to make sounds and movements when mental tension arises and have them stop and go back to relaxation for a few minutes, reconnect, and continue the exercise. What may be most immediately clear is how relaxation sets the tone and prepares the actor for the serious and disciplined exercise and scene work to come. The teacher should allow sufficient time before checking each person's relaxation, making corrections, suggestions, and forging a supportive working relationship where trust develops and problems are solved. It's essential for teachers to diagnose the actor's unconscious behavior and habits. In the video on relaxation, I expanded on the idea of habits and how debilitating their impact on creativity can be. Since the habit, by definition, is unconscious and a result of tension, it works directly against the goals of the method, which is to be able to take on the character's habits as part of their behavior, while eliminating your own personal habits. Teachers and directors are on the front line of correcting the self-limiting effect of unconscious habits that can be deadly for an acting career. When you observe an actor doing things unconsciously, you must diagnose it and point it out. If an actor cannot say lines without constantly using or waving their hands, I insist that they keep their hands absolutely still at their sides or behind their back. When the habit is eliminated, something will change in the actor's gestures and expressiveness. New opportunities for impulses and behaviors open up, unblocked by the self-defeating habit. Not being able to speak above a whisper has to be a changeable habit. Other actor problems may require attention, of which the teacher should be conscious, especially work with the voice, which is crucial and in many cases requires specialized training and attention in areas of vocal expression, diction, and enunciation. Actors are taught to understand that allowing adequate time for training plays an important role in developing concentration. Method acting isn't for the faint of heart, and it's one of the most challenging professions with no shortcuts to success. Grit, resilience, and endurance are vital to handle the ups and downs, or the applause and criticisms. At the heart of it is the actor's talent and belief in the role of the artist to transcend adversity by developing mastery of the craft. Over the course of a class, the actor's work naturally has evolved at its own speed. Patience is key, knowing that actors develop at different times, and one never knows if and when talent will reveal itself. I sometimes have a private conversation with an actor about where they are in their work and suggest exercises to help them to go further and deeper. The dialogue is part of a working relationship and creates a shared purpose. There can be a dilemma for a teacher about working with people who have different degrees of talent. As a method teacher, you explore with everyone their areas of weakness. For some students, you work with a focus on the senses in trying to discover a pathway for them to become more expressive. However, if there isn't any appreciable breakthrough after a significant amount of time, and if an actor hasn't learned anything through the self-evaluation process, they may begin to figure out there's a problem by the response, or lack of it. But I've been pleasantly surprised by an actor's leap in skill level and comprehension after a passionate application of the exercises. A pitfall to be avoided is labeling an actor as, for example, a young Brando, or the new Meryl. This isn't constructive, and can end up hurting the actor by the comparison. It's good to know the type and what they may be cast as, but that's different. The idea of any such label will enter the actor's mind and potentially limit their ongoing exploration and experimentation with their natural abilities. Critical reviews can comment on the similarity between an actor and an earlier star, but this introduces a meaningless standard and will not help the actor give a better performance. There can be positive ways to make comparisons to famous actors that aren't as limiting. For example, make a comparison to an actor's boldness or inventiveness. Actors must be taught and encouraged to think imaginatively, differently, with foresight and a childlike wonderment, remaining unceasingly curious, and with a whimsical yet serious nature. Actors should understand that failure is temporary, and unfortunately, inevitable. It prepares you for the more humbling aspects of the profession, which must be viewed as an opportunity for growth. In the face of adversity, teach the actors to pause, gather themselves, breathe, get their footing, and persevere. Most important, teach your actors that the only failure is in being regretful that no effort was made.